We want to get back to our breaking news this morning. A shooting took place more than 2 hours ago in a very busy area of Buckhead. Our crews were the first on the scene. This is near Peachtree and Piedmont, where those two roads meet. Caitlin Ross is live and has been speaking with police and other witnesses there. Caitlin, kind of put it all together for us. What have you found out?
Vinny, we know police are still investigating. They're interviewing people who were in that building and they're keeping everyone else out. We know that one security guard was shot and killed by another security guard. At this point, police don't know who called 911, but they got the call right after 5 o'clock in the morning that someone had been shot and to rush out here to Tower Place Boulevard. When they got here, they found that security guard was dead. He had been shot in the head. Now they're trying to figure out why the second security guard shot him.
No charges have been made. Again, like I said earlier, we're trying to make sure we need to take the individual down to headquarters to see if there were any type of, self-defense. So we're not sure, again, a motive.
And it's been a very emotional morning here on scene. Coworkers arriving, really comforting each other, some of them crying. I spoke with another employee who works in the building and says he just doesn't feel safe here anymore. He says he feels like it's time for him to get a gun because he says the violence is out of control, Vinny.
All right, Caitlin, a lot of security guards don't carry weapons. Do we know if these security guards had weapons as part of the normal operating procedures, or if this was one of the security guards' private gun? Do we know?
That's a really good question, Vinny, because we did speak with a separate security guard earlier this morning. He actually patrols a parking deck just down the street. He says that he's not armed. He's been at this complex for 5 years. He says he's never seen anything like this, but he does feel vulnerable because they're not allowed to carry weapons. So this was a different security company. They were inside this building, and we don't know yet if this was a private gun or if this was a gun used as part of their jobs. We know that it could be two different security companies. The victim was wearing a blazer. That was his uniform. The second security guard was in a different uniform, a full uniform. So we are waiting for those details this morning and to find out if one or both of these guards was armed as part of their job at the time of the shooting.
Now, Caitlin, I noticed there's still some crime scene tape up behind you. Any idea when they're going to open up the building?
So far, they haven't said. We know that the Emmys van did come and then leave, but there are still detectives inside the building. They're kind of walking around inside, talking to people who are inside that building. So far, people who have showed up here for work have been turned away. We just talked to one guy who said he's supposed to have a conference inside this building. He's now calling the organizers to see whether or not that's still on, because so far this morning, they've been turning everyone away who's tried to get in this building for work.
All right, Caitlin Ross, first one on the scene this morning. Thanks so much, Caitlin.
Number 4, I'm Caitlin Ross in Buckhead with breaking news. We've just confirmed that a security guard shot and killed another security guard on Tower Place Drive. There's a huge crime scene perimeter here as detectives interview people inside this building. Detectives just spoke with us a moment ago to tell us everything they know about the shooting.
Right now, what I can tell you is that we have two security guards who are working here at this location. We're not sure right now what the motive was. We've been told that it may have been some type of verbal argument that escalated into the gunfire.
So we know that that second security guard was arrested. He's in the back of a police car right now. Detectives tell us that they are going to question him for the rest of the morning. The big question now is whether or not these men were armed for these jobs or if this was a personal weapon. We're going to stay on this story all morning, switch over to the ATL, and we'll continue coverage in the 7 o'clock hour.
Our breaking news this morning, a shooting took place less than 2 hours ago in a very busy area of Buckhead. Our crews first on the scene. This is near Peachtree and Piedmont where they meet, not far from the AMC Dine-In Theater, for those of you who know that part of the area. Caitlin Ross has been gathering information this morning. Caitlin, what's the latest that you've learned?
Vinny, we have confirmed with police that a security officer was shot and killed inside this building. We know that he was shot in the head, but at this point, police will not confirm whether or not they have a suspect in custody. We know this happened just after 5 o'clock this morning. We got to the scene very quickly and saw a huge police presence. The entire area cordoned off. Dozens of police cars responded to this scene. Now we know that detectives are inside. They're interviewing people who were inside the building when it happened. We can see them through those double glass glass doors. We're waiting, though, for police to come out and talk to us and tell us exactly what happened. At this hour, Vinny, people are arriving for work. They're being turned away. Police officers saying that they cannot get through this police barrier. Again, we are waiting for confirmation of exactly what happened.
Our crew's the first on the scene. Caitlin Ross is live where she just spoke with police. Caitlin, what'd you find out?
Vinny, we're still waiting for confirmation for exactly what happened here, but you can tell this is a very large crime scene. They have a huge area taped off, dozens of APD cruisers in the area. We know that they're investigating inside this building. You can see detectives talking to witnesses, interviewing people inside. We just spoke with a security guard who patrols another area of this complex. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's a very large complex on Tower Place Drive in Buckhead. He says that this is a nice area. He's very surprised by what happened. But at the same time, being a security guard is a very dangerous job. He tells us he's hearing that it was another security guard who was shot. We do know that homicide detectives are on the scene, but we don't have confirmation from police yet about exactly what happened. Vinny, I can tell you that I see police officers inside this building. They're investigating, they're talking to people. As soon as we get off here, we're going to go talk to more witnesses, more people in the area, see if we can gather more information for you as quickly as possible. Because, Vinny, people are already showing up to work here today, asking what happened, trying to figure out more information. So we're going to get that to you as soon as possible.